Okay, we're back with Bhagavatam. And we're going to look at chapter 8, which is, there's going to be 3 chapters in a row now that are good, better, and best in the whole first section. I really like these. Let me just grab it, get it on my screen. Okay, so what we have story-wise is we got these sages in the forest. They want to do something for the people of Kali Yuga who are going to suffer by the nature of Kali Yuga. But they didn't really have somebody who could do what they wanted to do, so they're just waiting around doing rituals. Then Sutta, a young half-caste, shows up, and they ask him to teach them and answer their questions, lead their whole affair. And they ask him to tell them about Krishna, because understanding Krishna is the most important thing for people in this age to try to do. So then he says, all right, I'm going to explain to you what I learned by listening to Shuka, who's the son of Vyasa, who learned the Bhagavatam from Vyasa. And the Bhagavatam is going to explain Krishna perfectly. So then the sages said, all right, but first, explain who these people are. Explain to us some more details about Vyasa and why he created this book and when he created, etc. Sutta answered that question. And then they also asked, tell us about Shuka, who spoke it, and Parikshit, the king, who heard it, who learned it. So now, Sutta Goswami is in the process of explaining Parikshit. Who is this person, Parikshit? And the way that he explained it is by going back to the Mahabharata war, which is where Parikshit was conceived, and telling the story of how the war ended with Bhishma breaking Duryodhana's back on the battlefield, and then some lieutenant from Duryodhana's army tried to get revenge and undermine the Pandus for their victory. So he killed all the heirs. He killed the 5 princes while they were sleeping. He beheaded them. Then Arjun went to kill the guy, but wound up only arresting him, and then they somewhat forgave him, although they stripped him of all his functions and ranks. And then they performed the funerals, and then as Krishna was about to go back to his own city, another emergency happens. The same person who had killed all the 5 princes realizes that one of the princesses was pregnant, so there's still an heir, Pandu heir, alive. So he tries to kill the child before it's born with the same type of weapon, but one that he has mastered more. It's called a Brahmastra. By this time he had mastered it more. And then Krishna had to himself become Paramatma, or show himself as Paramatma, and use the chakra of Vishnu to save Parikshit. Now, after that happens, Kunti, who's the mother of these kings, she's the queen of the Pandus. She steps forward and gives an amazing monologue to Krishna. So she says to him, I give myself to you, the original person, the master of all energies and their origin, the undelimited existence inside and outside of everything. So she's talking to Krishna, a guy sitting on a chariot. But she says that you're the undelimited existence and you're inside and outside of everything, which he just demonstrated by suddenly going inside Uttara's womb. Not even going inside Uttara's, just revealing that he's always been there. And managing to protect this child from an focused atomic explosion. So you're the undelimited existence, inside and outside of everything, the master of all energies, this explosion. Then she says, the fool's eye is blind to your unlimited delimitations, beyond the curtains of illusion, just as they don't recognize an actor in costume. So this is such an important thing. The fool's eye. So she just said to Krishna, you are the undelimited existence, inside and outside of everything. That means that he's limitless, right? So he's like this undefinable force. Yet here he is, sitting in front of her, on the street. So he's obviously delimited. She can see a form. She can see arms, and the arm is here and it's not here. So he's obviously limited, yet she's saying he's undelimited. And then she says the fool's eye is blind to your unlimited delimitations. That when you delimit yourself into form, it's not limited. It's an unlimited delimitation. Just like you have you have infinite numbers in between the number 1 and 2. So you can delimit numbers 1, 2, 3, but there's actually 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, just between 1 and 2. And between 1.1 and 1.2, there's 1.21, 1.22, etc. So inside any delimitation, there's still unlimited space. So what she's saying is fools can't see this. Fools can't understand that something can have a form but still be infinite. So fools think that God has no shape because God can't be limited and shapes are limiting. The fool can't comprehend that delimitations are themselves unlimited, and lack of a delimitation is a limit. The fool's eye is blind to your unlimited delimitations that are beyond the curtains of illusion. They're beyond the curtains of illusion, just as they don't recognize an actor in costume. So we are limited by shapes imposed on us by our illusions, so we become limited by our shapes. But they don't recognize that this being, Krishna, is manifesting a shape and a form and a color and a smell and a sound beyond the curtains of illusion. It's a full manifestation of self. Just as they don't recognize an actor in costume when, you can still recognize some of these guys. Like, what's his name? Ian McKellen, when he plays Gandalf, you can still tell he's Ian McKellen. But actually, if you're just walking down the street and you go to Whole Foods and Ian McKellen, you might not recognize him standing next to you, 6 feet away from you on the line. So just as fools don't recognize an actor in costume, just as people don't recognize somebody, the same way fools don't recognize that the unlimited supreme reality is present in a personal form. They think it's impossible. But the eyes of the great souls, she says, the scholars, the liberated, can see you. So the fools can't see that this form is divine. But great souls, but some people can see. The eyes of great souls, who are the scholars, people that are actually wise, or people who are liberated, can see you. Why? Why? Because they're so smart? Or why? Because they're liberated? That's not what she says at all. She's going to say something else right here. She says they can see you because their eyes are moist with devotion. So the scholarship does not produce darshan or vision of divinity, But the scholarship can produce, or at least give space to, devotion. Liberation, from which means freedom from selfishness and freedom from illusion and ignorance, cannot produce darshan or vision of the divine. But liberation can produce the space for devotion, for true love. So, it's actually the love, the moistness of the love on the eye, just as the eye which is wet is healthy and the eye which is dry is unhealthy. The moistness of the wetness on the eye is what makes it capable of seeing Krishna, of seeing divinity. Seeing, meaning perceiving or interacting with divinity in a personal, direct way. Kunti is Krishna. Kunti is the wife of the Pandavas. Just rewind and watch back again. So she says, so that's why I can see. She says, so can a simple woman like me also see? That's why I can see you. So she's seeing Krishna and she's saying, I see that you are the infinite divine. And she's not saying that's because I'm a scholar or I'm a liberated person. It's because I love you. Having very feelingly and poetically expressed her evaluation of Krishna as the personal form of the unlimited spiritual substance, whose existence is imperceptible except through the heart's feelings of devotion, she now expresses her own heartfelt affection for Krishna. So she set up, in this first three verses that she says, she set up this paradigm that there's this original supreme reality that's unlimited everywhere, inside and outside of everything, but it has a specific form, and that form doesn't mean that it's not limited. It's an unlimited form, which is beyond the curtains of illusion, and fools can't see that, but people who are not fools can see it, because if you're not fool, you might have love for it. And it's the love for it which allows you to see it. So now that she set up that paradigm, bhaktyamam abhijanati, that bhakti allows people, love allows people to perceive the divine. Because the divine is a woman who you cannot force and you cannot rape. You cannot force your way in here. You have to be allowed in. And who is going to be let in? Someone who has love. You're not going to let people that don't love you into your house, into your bedroom, into your bed. You shouldn't. So certainly, Krishna is not going to allow people who don't have full, pure love for him experience him. In fact, it's just that very lack of love which prevents the possibility of the experience. So having set up that, she's now going to talk about her love for him. She's going to express her love. So she's just going to have some beautiful kind of like outpouring right now. She's going to say, I give myself to Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the darling child of Devaki, cowherd Nanda's dear boy, the only delight of my senses. So she says Krishna is the son of Vasudeva, and that's his supposedly his father. That's he's the darling child of Devaki, supposedly his mother, but she says he's also cowherd Nanda's dear boy, because Krishna actually, practically speaking, is the child of Nanda, the cowherd. Now Nanda means delight, so she's now on the poetry of that. She's saying he's the son of Nanda, the son of delight, but he's my only delight. I give myself to you. Now she's going to talk about how beautiful he is. Your navel is like a lotus. So he's got a belly button that's like a lotus. You wear a necklace of lotuses. Your eyes are like lotuses. Your feet are like lotuses. So Fuzz, some of these questions you just have to hang on to and ask the text as you hear it. Or wait till I say you have a question. Otherwise, but the text itself is going to show you. It's going to reveal everything to you in time. So the Kunti then begins to express her gratitude for the special care and protection Krishna always showed her and her family. So first she sets up this thing about Krishna as the ultimate divinity, but you can perceive Krishna as an individual person. Then she says how beautiful that person is. Now she's going to say, why is this person so nice to me and my family? So she says, O master of the senses, you freed your mother Devaki from the long imprisonment of treacherous Kamsa. And you show us the same affection. So we're not your mother. I'm not your mother. But you're treating me I don't understand what you're saying, Nan. So I'm not your mother, but you're treating me just like your mother. That's his nature. It's Krishna's nature. So just like you took really special care to make sure you freed your mother from this imprisonment that she was in, you did the same thing for us. Actually, you do even more for us. You protected us from danger after danger. And then she gives like a little summary. She's remembering all the things. And if you're familiar with Mahabharata, you just need the summary. She said, you protected us from poison, from infernos, from the attacks of man-eaters, from the vile assembly, from the sufferings of exile, from the weapons of countless warriors, and even from the ultimate weapon. So then she says something really interesting. Let there be such dangers forever, because each one puts us in your hands and thus out of the grasp of repeated birth and death. So she's liked it. She loved it. She loved the fact that her life was full of danger and Krishna kept saving her all the time. So she doesn't really want the dangers to end. Then she says, who needs status? She's the queen. She's the emperor's mother. She says, who needs status, power, learning, or beauty? These things only increase the human hallucination and block us from sincerely turning to you. Who is called, this here is, she says, Tam akinchana gochara. You're only within the reach of those who have nothing else. So, Bhagavan is called a kinchan gochar. He's something which can be grasped only by a kinchan. People who don't have anything else. Because if you have something else that you're trying to grasp on, then you're going to mistake that thing is your love will be split to that thing. This entity, Bhagavan, is the supreme experience. You can experience Bhagavan only by love, and that love has to be perfect. Because this entity is perfect. So that's why he's called a Kinchan Gochara. Someone who has nothing else but him experiences him. So that's what Kunti says. What do I want anything else? I don't want anything else. I don't need status, power, learning, beauty, because these things only increase the human hallucination and block us from sincerely turning to you, who is within the reach of those, who is only within the reach of those who have nothing else. I give myself to you, the wealth of the wealthless, who are unimpressed by the qualities of material things. I submit myself to you, the Lord of the self-satisfied, gentle and pure. So that's nice. There's so many nice instructions in here and concepts and conceptions. Then Kunti addresses an objection. The objection might arise like, well, Krishna's really nice to you. That's kind of rude to other people. thought he was supposed to be God and fair to everybody. So how is he impartial? Why did he let the Kurus lose and the Pandavas win? He sounds like a great guy if you're a Pandava, but I bet you if you're a Kuru, you might not be so into him. So she says this. I know that you are the master of fate. You are the master of fate. You are infinite without beginning or end. And you always act with impartiality and equality. Friendship or enmity is something we living beings create. So this is a really interesting point. We create the illusion of being friends with some people and enemies with others. Don't forget, the woman talking to you is the mother of an emperor. She deals a lot with friends and enemies. She's pretty much knee-deep in friendship and enmity. And she's saying, Krishna, you don't have this flaw that we have of making some people into our enemies and some people into our friends. So why does it seem like you're treating us like your friends and other people not? She says, who can understand your all-attractive behavior? People wrongly think that you are like them. Partial, selecting objects of favor or disfavor. But partiality exists only in the human mind. Now, what she's saying is, we create the partiality towards you. Like specifically here in this exact situation where she's in, where Krishna is just defeating the attempts of somebody to kill her grandson. So obviously Krishna's favored the grandson and disfavored the killer. So she's saying, well, people are going to say, well, look, can't be the supreme being who's everywhere because he's only on the side of the grandson and not on the side of the killer. But she's saying we create partiality and you are just perceived by us. So if we have partiality in our mind, we interact with you with partiality. And we interact, what to speak of, with each other with partiality. So some people acted towards Krishna as friend. Some people acted towards him not so. They're the ones who created that, not him. So here's a little side story that's really nice. That's really nicely illustrates this. Krishna's brother Balaram said, "Forget this. I'm not fighting in this war. I'm not taking anybody's side. I'll see you later. I'm going on pilgrimage. I'm going." And he walked into the mountains or something. He went out for a long time. Just went away. That was how Krishna's elder brother handled this war situation. Krishna said, I'm going to give one side my army and one side. Thank you, Maria. That's really great. Krishna said, I'm going to give one side my army and the other side myself. But I myself am not going to fight. I'm not going to pick up a single weapon. So you can pick. So he allowed Duryodhan or Arjun, one from each side, to pick the army or Krishna. And Duryodhan was like, whoa, I have to pick first. And Arjun was a little bit nervous because if Krishna was on the other side, Arjun would definitely not be able to fight. But Duryodhan's mentality is so he's such a common fool that he evaluated, man, this is ridiculous. What a choice. You can get Krishna's army or you can get Krishna not going to do anything. So Duryodhan picked the army and Arjun picked Krishna. So it's a little example of how Krishna is impartial, but the way that you react, the way that you approach him is the way that he reacts to you. It's not even that he reacts to you, it's going to be the way that you perceive his interaction with you is according to your way of perceiving him. Name dveshtastina priya. I don't just favor anybody, but tamsta taiva bhajam ye tamam prapajante. The way tamsta taiva bhajamyaham, the way that people come to me is the way that they're going to experience me going back to them. So that's what Kunti is getting at here. Now, we got more time. Got a little bit more time. Let me see how much more we have to do. All right, we'll just do this next little section. She does actually praise the dangers. But it's not the dangers themselves which she praises. Nobody wants to be in danger, but everybody wants to be rescued. And she's saying that since these dangers, for example, the war caused Krishna to come to Hastinapur city and stay there for months. So she's actually glad that there was a war because it brought Krishna to her place. All the terrible things that she went through for, 13 years. She's happy that she went through those things because it caused Krishna to interact with her so much. If she's not praising regular suffering, but she's praising anything which brings Krishna more into her life. So an ordinary person is just like Duryodhana. An ordinary person is going to say, I could have a comfortable palace, or I could live with alligators under a tree next to the river in the cold with Krishna. Which one would I pick? Now, really, which one would you pick? You can get coronavirus and go to ICU, but Krishna will be there taking care of you. Or you could never get coronavirus and instead you could win all the money that's now up for grabs. Which one will you pick? Well, if you have a little bhakti, you're going to pick the coronavirus option. But if you don't, but most people would say, what? Krishna? What? Give me these things that I know. So what she's saying is exactly the opposite. If I have a dangerous situation that is going to bring Krishna more into my interacting with me, then give me that dangerous situation. Then we'll just end with this next section. Thanks, Bardo. We're going to end with this next section, which is, she expressed that all the deeds of Krishna are mysteriously perplexing. It's not just the ones... It's not just the deeds where it seems to be partial to somebody. All of his deeds are confusing. They're perplexing. Just the fact that he exists is perplexing because it's infinity in a delimited form. Just that very fact is perplexing. So she says, indeed, isn't it very confusing that the unborn, deedless soul of the universe takes birth and performs deeds among animals, humans, sages, and aquatics? So that's very perplexing. That the unborn, deedless soul of the universe takes birth, performs deeds as specific beings inside the universe. When you were a naughty boy, now she's giving some peek into Krishna's really intimate life. When you were a naughty boy, your mother, the cowherd woman, that's Yashoda, she reached for a rope. She's going to tie you up. That was one way the kid used to punish kids. So when you were a naughty boy, your mother, the cowherd woman, reached for a rope. Mascara ran in the tears flowing from your frightened eyes. You looked downward, and fear filled you up. Isn't this very confusing? since even the god of fear fears you. So what she's saying is all Krishna's activities are going to be so easy to just write off as being a common story and proof that he can't be God. But actually there's something very mysterious and perplexing about what's going on here. And just as she unraveled the partiality thing, she doesn't really take the effort to unravel it here. Actually, she does in the next section. She's going to elaborately give various opinions about this and then state her own opinion. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. This was a lot of fun. I always look forward to this. So we'll see you tomorrow for more of Kunti's dialogue. No, Kunti's monologue. Thanks, everybody.